Hey everyone. Today's story was created based on a suggestion from one of my subscribers. If you'd like to help shape future stories too, be sure to check out my Patreon. There are already over 850 stories available, with new parts released every day. That's almost 1,000 audio story chapters ready to enjoy. You can submit your own ideas and vote in weekly polls to help decide what stories come next. Poll number 30 is currently active on Patreon. All the links are in the description and pinned comment. Enjoy the story. Naruto Uzumaki sat alone on the roof of his small apartment building, legs dangling over the edge as he stared at the stars scattered across the night sky above Konoha. The village below was mostly quiet now, only a few lights still glowing in windows and the distant sound of crickets filling the air. His bright blue eyes reflected the moonlight, but his mind was far from peaceful. For weeks now, Hinata Hyuga had been on his mind more than usual. He had always known she liked him. Everyone in their generation knew. The shy glances, the way she would sometimes faint when he got too close, the soft voice whenever she said his name. But lately something had changed. During the last few joint training sessions he had caught her staring at him not with her usual nervous shyness, but with something deeper. There was hunger in those pale lavender eyes. A quiet, almost desperate longing. Naruto shifted, reaching into his jacket pocket and pulling out the worn orange book he had hidden there. Icha Salt Training. Jiraiya had given it to him years ago as a joke, laughing that it would teach him how to handle women properly. Back then Naruto had only skimmed a few pages before hiding it in embarrassment. Now he had read it cover to cover multiple times. The book spoke of guiding a woman who already loved you. Of slowly shaping her thoughts, her body, her desires until she became exactly what you needed, devoted, obedient, perfect. It wasn't about force. It was about giving her what she secretly wanted and then taking control of that want. Making her happy by making her yours completely. Naruto closed the book and tucked it away again. His heart beat a little faster. Hinata already loved him. She had loved him for years. What if he could make her even happier by giving her exactly the kind of relationship the book described? A relationship where she could let go of everything and simply belong to him. He stood up, stretching his arms above his head. Tomorrow he would start. The next afternoon, after helping Iruka-sensei with the academy students, Naruto made his way toward the training grounds. He spotted Hinata practicing gentle taijutsu forms by herself near the edge of the field. Her long dark blue hair swayed with every precise movement, and her pale skin glowed faintly in the sunlight. She looked beautiful, soft, focused, and completely unaware of how much her presence affected him. "Hinata!" he called out, waving with his usual energetic grin. She stopped mid-motion and turned quickly. A deep blush immediately spread across her cheeks, reaching all the way to her ears. "And Naruto-kun. Good afternoon. Mind if I walk with you for a bit? There's something I've been wanting to talk about." Hinata nodded almost too quickly, her fingers twisting together nervously. "Oh, of course. I would like that." They left the training grounds together and walked along a quiet path that led toward the woods on the outskirts of the village. For the first few minutes Naruto kept the conversation light and easy, just like always. He talked about how chaotic the academy kids had been that day, complained about the weather being too hot for proper training, and told a stupid story about how he had accidentally knocked over a fruit stand while chasing a cat earlier that week. Hinata listened with her usual soft smile, occasionally letting out a quiet laugh at his stories. But Naruto noticed the way her eyes kept drifting to his face when she thought he wasn't looking. He also noticed how her breathing changed slightly whenever their arms brushed against each other as they walked. After a while the path grew quieter. The sounds of the village faded behind them, replaced by birdsong and the rustle of leaves. Naruto slowed his steps and glanced sideways at her. "Hinata," he said, his voice calmer now. "I've been thinking about you a lot lately." She almost tripped over a small root but caught herself. "And me? Yeah. You've liked me for a really long time, right? I mean, everyone kind of knows. But lately it feels different. Stronger." He stopped walking and turned to face her fully. "I like you too. More than I used to realize. And I want to get closer to you. But not in the normal way everyone else does." Hinata's heart was pounding so loudly she was sure he could hear it. Her secret book, Icha Bimbo, had been guiding her for months already. Every night she drank the special herbal tea that made her body feel warmer and more sensitive. She did the posture and breathing exercises that slowly reshaped her figure, making her chest fuller and her hips wider. She whispered the affirmations while looking at herself in the mirror. I will become Naruto-kun's perfect girl, soft, fertile, eager to please. My body exists for his pleasure. Now he was standing right in front of her, saying the words she had dreamed of hearing. I do like you, Naruto-kun, she whispered, her voice trembling. Very much. For a long time. Naruto stepped closer. He reached out and gently brushed a strand of her dark blue hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering on her cheek. The touch was light, but it sent a warm shiver through Hinata's entire body. I want us to have something special, he continued. Something where you can be completely honest with me. Where you don't have to hide how you feel. Where you can trust me to lead and just let go. Hinata's large white eyes looked up at him, filled with nervous excitement. What do you mean exactly? Naruto smiled, but there was a new intensity behind it. When we're alone like this, I want you to call me master. Just between us. It feels right, doesn't it? Like that's how it should be. The word hit Hinata like a warm wave. Her knees felt weak. Inside her mind the lessons from her book mixed with her own feelings. Master, yes. That's what I want to call him. Yes, she breathed. Yes, master. Naruto's smile widened. He leaned in slowly and kissed her. It started gentle, just the press of his lips against hers, but quickly deepened. His tongue teased at her lower lip until she parted them with a soft sound. The kiss grew hotter, more possessive. One of his hands slid down to rest on her lower back, pulling her closer against him. The other hand moved to her waist, his thumb brushing slowly along the side of her melons through the fabric of her jacket. Hinata melted completely. Her hands clutched the front of his orange jacket as she kissed him back with years of hidden longing. Her mind felt pleasantly fuzzy. This is what I've been training for, becoming softer for him, letting him touch me however he wants. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing harder. Naruto kept his hand on her waist, his thumb still moving in slow, teasing circles. Good girl, he murmured. That's exactly how I want you to be with me. Honest. Obedient. Eager. The praise made Hinata's stomach flutter with warmth. She nodded, already craving to hear those words again. They found a small hidden clearing surrounded by tall trees and sat down together on the soft grass. Naruto kept talking, explaining in gentle but firm words what he wanted from their new relationship. He wanted her to train her body and mind to become perfect for him. He wanted her to put his pleasure and happiness first. He wanted her to grow even more beautiful than she already was, softer, more sensitive, more devoted. He never used the crude words from the book directly. Instead, he wrapped everything in promises of care and closeness. I'll take care of you, Hinata, he said, reaching over to stroke her cheek again. In return, I want you to trust me completely. Can you do that? Yes, master, she answered without hesitation this time. I trust you. They kissed again, longer this time. Naruto's hands explored her sides and back with slow, deliberate touches. He never went too far, just enough to make her body ache with a new kind of need. His fingers traced the curve of her hip, squeezed gently, then moved up again. Every touch felt like it was teaching her something. Hinata's thoughts raced even as her body responded. He's really doing this. He wants me to be his. I have to train harder, the tea, the exercises, everything. I want to be perfect for him. After a while they stood up. Naruto walked her most of the way back toward the Hyuga compound, his hand occasionally brushing against hers or resting lightly on her lower back. Before they parted at the edge of the woods, he pulled her into one last deep kiss, his hand cupping the back of her head. Tomorrow we start your real training, he promised against her lips. Just the two of us at first. Then maybe we'll bring someone else in. Someone who could fit well with us. Hinata's heart jumped. Someone else? Naruto grinned. I met a girl named Haku recently. She's really skilled, quiet, and beautiful. I think she'd understand what we're building. What do you think? Hinata thought about it for a long moment. If it made Naruto happy, she would accept almost anything. If you think it's good, master, then I'm okay with it. He kissed her forehead. That's my good girl. Later that evening, after dinner with her family, Hinata retreated to her room. She locked the door and prepared the special herbal tea from her secret book. The warm, slightly sweet liquid slid down her throat and spread a pleasant warmth through her chest and belly. She stood in front of her mirror and slowly removed her jacket and top, studying her reflection. Her chest looked fuller than it had even a month ago. Her waist was softer, her hips wider. The exercises were working. She placed her hands on her stomach and whispered the nightly affirmation, her voice barely audible. I will become Naruto-kun's perfect girl, soft, fertile, obedient. My body exists to please him. I will train until I am exactly what he wants. She felt a strange mix of nervousness and excitement. The changes in her body were real. The way Naruto had touched her today had felt better than anything she had imagined. She wanted more. She wanted to give him everything. The next day Naruto arranged for Hinata to meet Haku in a quiet part of the village near the old training fields. Haku arrived wearing simple dark clothing that somehow still looked elegant on her graceful frame. Her long black hair was tied back, and her calm dark eyes studied both of them with quiet interest. Naruto introduced them and explained that he and Hinata were starting special training to grow stronger together, training that involved trust, closeness, and pushing their limits. He didn't go into details, but the way he looked at Hinata made it clear there was more to it. Haku listened carefully. A faint blush appeared on her pale cheeks. I admire you a lot, Naruto, she said softly. And Hinata seems very kind. If you're both willing, I would like to join sometimes. I'm good with medical ninjutsu. Maybe I could help in my own way. Hinata looked at the other girl, then at Naruto. She felt a flutter of nervousness but also something else, a quiet acceptance. If this was what Naruto wanted, she would embrace it. I think it would be nice, Hinata said quietly. If Master thinks so? Naruto's grin lit up his whole face. Then it's settled. The three of us are going to make something amazing together. Across the village, in her own apartment, Kurina Yuhi sat by her window reviewing mission reports for the new team she had been assigned to lead. The team included Naruto Uzumaki, Hinata Hyuga, and the newcomer Haku. Kurina had always been observant. Something about the way Hinata had been acting lately felt different, softer, more focused, almost dreamy whenever Naruto's name came up. She made a mental note to watch them closely during their first official team meeting. There was an unusual energy around those three. Kurina wasn't sure yet if it was something to worry about, or something else entirely. Naruto walked home that evening with a satisfied, excited feeling in his chest. The first step had gone better than he expected. Hinata was already following his lead, calling him master, accepting his touches and his vision. Haku had shown real interest. And soon he would bring more people into what he was building. He didn't fully understand yet where this path would lead. But the book had given him ideas. And Hinata's willing submission had given him confidence. Step by step, he would create exactly what he wanted. A perfect team. A perfect partner. And eventually, something much bigger than any of them had imagined. If you're enjoying the story so far, I'd really appreciate a like, a subscription, and a comment. It really helps the channel grow and motivates me to keep creating more stories. Now, let's get back to the story. The morning light filtered softly through the thin curtains of Hinata's room. She sat on the edge of her bed, already dressed, holding a small ceramic cup of warm herbal tea. She drank it slowly, feeling the familiar warmth spread through her body. For months she had been following the secret instructions from Icha Bimbo. Every morning and every evening she drank this tea. Every day she did the special exercises that made her hips wider and her chest heavier. Every night before sleep she whispered the same words into her pillow. I will become softer for Naruto-kun. I will stop thinking so much. I will become his perfect girl, obedient, fertile, eager to please. Hinata stood up and looked at herself in the mirror. She turned sideways and ran her hands over her body. Her chest filled out her jacket more than it used to. Her hips had a gentle, natural sway when she walked. She felt more sensitive everywhere. Even the light brush of fabric against her skin made her shiver now. Today Master will train me again, she thought, a warm blush spreading across her cheeks. And Haku will be there too. I have to show her how to be good for him. She finished the tea, whispered her affirmation one more time, and left the compound with a light, floating feeling in her chest. Naruto was already waiting in the secluded clearing. When Hinata arrived, he watched her walk toward him and immediately noticed the changes. Her steps were softer, her posture slightly more curved, like she was unconsciously presenting herself. He smiled and pulled her close the moment she reached him. Good morning, Hinata, he said, voice low. Good morning, Master, she answered softly, already looking up at him with those big white eyes full of devotion. He kissed her slowly, deeply, one hand sliding down to squeeze her rear firmly while the other rested on her waist. Hinata moaned quietly into his mouth and pressed closer. When they broke apart, Naruto kept his hand on her ass, kneading it gently. "You've been doing your special routine, haven't you?" he asked. "You feel even softer than yesterday." Hinata's face turned bright red, but she nodded. "Yes, master. I want to be perfect for you. I want my body to be exactly what you like." Naruto's eyes darkened with satisfaction. He kissed her again, slower this time, and let his hand slide up under her jacket to cup one of her breasts. He didn't squeeze hard, he just held it, feeling the weight and warmth through her clothes. Hinata's breathing grew heavier, and she leaned into his touch without thinking. "This is what I've been training for," she thought hazily. "Master's hands on me, making me feel good, making me want to obey more." They spent a long time just like that. Kissing, touching, Naruto whispering instructions while Hinata listened with a growing fog in her mind. He told her to stop thinking so much during training. To simply feel his hands. To let go and trust him completely. Every time she nodded and said, "Yes, master," he rewarded her with more praise and more touches. When Haku arrived, she stopped at the edge of the clearing for a moment, watching them. The dark-haired girl looked elegant even in simple training clothes. Her long black hair was tied back, and her calm brown eyes took in the intimate scene without shock, only quiet interest. Naruto noticed her and waved her over. "Haku, come here." She walked forward and stopped in front of him, bowing her head slightly. "Good morning, master." The word came out naturally. Naruto felt a rush of satisfaction. He reached out, lifted her chin with 2 fingers, and studied her face. "You're sure about this?" he asked. "I lead. Both of you follow." No half measures. Haku met his eyes steadily. She had spent the whole night thinking about this. She had always admired Naruto. When he explained the special training, something inside her responded immediately. She wanted to belong to this. She wanted to follow. "I'm sure," she said softly. "I want to follow you, master. I want to be part of this, with you and Hinata." Naruto smiled and kissed her. It was slower and deeper than the kiss he had given Hinata. Haku melted against him almost instantly, her hands resting on his chest. When they parted, her cheeks were flushed and her breathing uneven. "Good," Naruto said. "Then let's begin." The next 2 hours were intense. Naruto trained both girls together, but the focus was on obedience and sensitivity rather than normal ninja exercises. He made them stand side by side and hold difficult poses while he corrected their form with his hands. He would adjust Hinata's hips, letting his fingers press into the soft flesh, then move to Haku and do the same, his touch lingering on her waist, sliding up her sides, brushing the outer curves of her chest. Hinata tried to be a good example. Every time Naruto praised her, she felt warm satisfaction spread through her chest. Every time he touched her, she leaned into it. Her mind was already pleasantly hazy. Haku was surprised by how natural it felt to obey. She had always been calm and composed, but under Naruto's steady voice and guiding hands, her thoughts began to slow down. "He knows what he's doing. I just need to listen and feel." At one point Naruto had them stand facing each other, very close, while he stood behind Hinata. He reached around her and placed his hands on her stomach, then slowly moved them upward until his palms rested just below her chest. "Show Haku how good it feels to be praised," he murmured into Hinata's ear. Hinata's face was burning, but she nodded. "Haku, when Master touches you like this, and tells you you're doing well, it feels warm. It feels right. You don't have to think so much. Just let go a little." Haku watched Naruto's hands on Hinata's body, then looked at Hinata's flushed, dreamy expression. A strange, pleasant heat bloomed in her own chest. I understand," she whispered. Naruto rewarded them both with long kisses. When he kissed Haku again, his hand slid down to cup her rear firmly. Haku let out a small sound but didn't pull away. She pressed closer instead. By the time they finished the session, both girls were flushed, breathing harder, and looking at Naruto with new devotion in their eyes. That afternoon the 3 of them walked together to the Hokage Tower for their official team meeting. Hinata walked on Naruto's right, Haku on his left. The silence between them felt comfortable but charged. Kurina Yuhi was already waiting. She stood with her arms crossed, red eyes observing them carefully. Her long black hair moved in the breeze, and her red coat fluttered around her tall frame. During the first team training exercise, Kurina watched closely. Naruto naturally took the lead. Hinata and Haku followed him without question. When he corrected Hinata's stance, his hand stayed on her hip longer than necessary. Hinata didn't pull away, she leaned into the touch. Later, when Haku showed a medical technique, Naruto praised her warmly. Haku's cheeks turned pink, and she bowed her head slightly. After training, Kurenai pulled Naruto aside while the girls rested. "You have a strong influence over them," she said quietly. "Especially Hinata. Be careful. That kind of dynamic can become intense." Naruto met her gaze. "I know what I'm doing, sensei. I want to take care of them. Make them stronger. Make them happy." Kurenai studied him for a long moment. Something in his blue eyes made her thoughts slow down slightly. She found herself nodding. "Just remember they're your teammates," she said at last. "And I'm your sensei." That evening Kurenai sat alone in her apartment with a glass of wine. She stared out the window, thinking about the strange warmth she had felt when Naruto looked at her. It was probably nothing. Just stress from a new team. Still, when she went to bed, her dreams were unusually vivid. Later that night, after everyone else had gone home, Naruto brought Hinata and Haku back to the same secluded clearing. The moon was bright, and the air was cool. He had decided it was time to take things further. He sat on the grass with his back against a tree and pulled both girls down with him. Hinata sat on his right, Haku on his left. For a while they just talked quietly, Naruto praising them for today's training, both girls listening with soft, attentive expressions. Then Naruto kissed Hinata deeply. While he kissed her, his hands slid under her jacket and cupped her chest properly for the first time, thumb brushing over her sensitive button through her clothes. Hinata moaned softly into his mouth, her body already sensitive from months of preparation. He broke the kiss and looked at Haku. "Come here." Haku moved closer. Naruto kissed her too, while his other hand slid up her thigh. Both girls were breathing faster now. The atmosphere in the clearing had changed completely. Naruto looked at them both, his blue eyes dark with desire. "Tonight we're going to take the next step," he said quietly. "I want both of you. Together. Are you ready?" Hinata nodded immediately, her eyes glassy with arousal. "Yes, master." Haku hesitated only a second before nodding as well. "Yes, master." Naruto pulled Hinata onto his lap first. He kissed her deeply while his hands roamed her body, squeezing her chest, sliding down to grip her ass, pulling her closer so she could feel how hard he was. Hinata's mind was already a pleasant fog. "This is it. Master is going to take me. I've been training for this. I want to be good for him." He undressed her slowly, piece by piece, praising every new inch of skin he revealed. When her melons was bare, he leaned down and took one button into his hot mouth, sucking and licking until Hinata was whimpering and grinding against him. Her cheeks were flushed deep red, her wide eyes half-lidded with lust. Haku watched them, her own breathing heavy. Naruto reached out and pulled her closer, kissing her while his hands slipped between her legs, rubbing her through her clothes. Haku moaned softly, pressing into his touch. Naruto laid Hinata down on the soft grass and positioned himself between her thighs. He rubbed his sword along entrance, teasing her. Hinata looked up at him with pure devotion, her chest rising and falling quickly. "Please, master," she whispered. "I want inside." He pushed in slowly, watching her face as he stretched her. Hinata's back arched, a long moan escaping her lips. The feeling was overwhelming, pleasure mixed with a slight burn that quickly turned into deep satisfaction. Naruto started moving, deep and steady, one hand gripping her hip while the other played with her melons. Haku moved closer and kissed Hinata while Naruto played with her. Hinata moaned into Haku's mouth, completely lost in sensation. Her thoughts were a haze of pleasure and devotion. Master feels so good. I'm finally being used the way I was meant to be. I want to be his perfect dump. Craving the complete explicit version? Unlock everything on Patreon for just $4. Over 850 steamy episodes waiting. He stayed inside for a moment, kissing her forehead. Then he pulled out and looked at Haku. "Your turn." Haku's face was flushed, but she nodded and moved into position. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon, 850+ scorching hot episodes. Naruto looked up at the stars with a satisfied smile. The plan was working perfectly. Hinata was completely his now. Haku had joined willingly. And Kurenai, she was already starting to feel the pull. Step by step, everything was falling into place. The days after the team's first official mission passed in a strange, charged rhythm. Team 8 trained together every morning under Kurenai's watchful red eyes, and every afternoon Naruto continued his private, special training, with Hinata and Haku in the secluded clearing. Hinata had grown even softer. Her bimbo regimen was working faster than she had expected. Her chest strained more noticeably against her jacket, and her hips had developed a gentle, natural sway that made her look less like a shy kunoichi and more like a woman built for pleasure. Every morning she drank her special tea and repeated her affirmations in the mirror, her voice growing dreamier each day. Master wants me soft. Master wants me obedient. I don't need to think so much anymore. Haku, too, was changing. She had always been graceful, but now there was a new willingness in the way she followed Naruto's instructions. During their private sessions she no longer hesitated when he touched her. She leaned into his hands, let him correct her posture with lingering fingers on her waist and hips, and accepted his kisses with soft, breathy sighs. Naruto was patient. He never rushed the full act with either of them. He wanted them hungry. He wanted them to beg for it when the time finally came. Kurenai, meanwhile, had begun to notice things. During team training she caught herself staring at Naruto longer than necessary. When he gave orders to Hinata and Haku, they obeyed instantly, almost eagerly. Hinata's gaze toward him had become openly devoted. Haku's calm mask cracked into quiet blushes whenever he praised her. And every time Kurenai tried to assert her authority as sensei, she found her thoughts slowing down, her protests dying on her lips before they could form. One evening after a long tracking exercise, Kurenai stayed behind with Naruto while the girls went to wash up at a nearby stream. "You're changing them," she said quietly, arms crossed. "Hinata used to be shy and hesitant. Now she moves like she already knows what you want before you say it. Haku, she looks at you like you hung the moon." Naruto met her eyes without flinching. "I'm helping them become stronger, sensei. They trust me. That trust makes them better." Kurenai studied him. The strange warmth she had felt the first day had only grown. When Naruto looked at her directly, her mind felt pleasantly heavy, like she was sinking into warm water. "I should be the one leading this team," she said, but her voice lacked its usual firmness. Naruto stepped closer. "You are leading us, Kurenai-sensei. But maybe you don't always have to carry everything alone. Maybe you can let someone else take care of you sometimes." His words sank into her like seeds. Kurenai opened her mouth to reply, then closed it again. She felt strangely relaxed. Her red eyes grew a little unfocused. "Maybe," she murmured. Naruto smiled. He reached out and gently brushed a strand of black hair from her face. The touch was light, but it sent a small shiver through Kurenai's body. "Rest tonight, sensei. Tomorrow we'll have another long day. You deserve to feel good." Kurenai nodded slowly, almost dreamily, before turning and walking back toward the village. That night she dreamed of blue eyes and a calm, confident voice telling her to relax, to obey, to let go. 2 days later, Naruto arranged for a private, team bonding, evening at a small, rarely used onsen on the outskirts of Konoha. He told Kurenai it would help the team grow closer. She agreed without much resistance. The 4 of them soaked in the warm water under the stars. Hinata and Haku wore simple towels, their bodies relaxed from the heat. Kurenai sat a little apart at first, but Naruto gradually drew her into the conversation, speaking in a low, soothing tone. He made sure the sake was strong. Kurenai drank more than she usually allowed herself. Her cheeks grew flushed, her red eyes softer. Naruto moved closer to her in the water. Hinata and Haku watched quietly from the other side of the spring, understanding without being told that tonight was about their sensei. "You work so hard, Kurenai-sensei," Naruto said softly, his voice wrapping around her like warm silk. "Always taking care of everyone. Always in control. Doesn't it get tiring sometimes?" Kurenai leaned back against the smooth stone, the hot water lapping at her collarbones. "It does. But I have to stay strong." "You don't have to be strong all the time," Naruto murmured. He reached out and gently massaged her shoulders. His hands were firm but gentle, working out knots she didn't even know she had. "Sometimes it feels good to let someone else lead. To just relax. To obey." Kurenai's eyes fluttered half-closed. The combination of sake, hot water, and Naruto's steady voice and hands was making her thoughts slow down even more. She felt strangely safe. Strangely willing. "Obey?" she repeated softly. "Yes," Naruto whispered, leaning closer. His lips brushed her ear. Just for tonight. Let me take care of you. Let me show you how good it feels to stop thinking so much. Hinata and Haku watched from across the spring. Hinata's breathing had grown heavier. She recognized the same tone Naruto used with her during training. Haku's eyes were wide, but she didn't look away. Kurenai let out a long, slow breath. I shouldn't. But you want to, Naruto said gently. I can feel it. You've been wanting this. Wanting to let go. He turned her slowly so her back was against his chest. His hands slid down her arms, then moved to her waist beneath the water. Kurenai didn't stop him. Her body felt heavy and warm, her mind pleasantly foggy. Naruto's hands moved higher, cupping her chest through the thin towel. Kurenai gasped softly but didn't pull away. Her sensitive buttons hardened instantly under his touch. That's it, he murmured. Just feel. Don't think. Good girl. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 850+ scorching hot episodes.